Hi everybody, this is the Geoff and Gerry podcast. Today we're going to talk about the broad issue of waste. A strange idea,
It's a
isn't it,
weird
Gerry?
word, isn't it?
Oh,
mate?
absolutely, yes.
Who thought of that?
Well, weren't you telling me about these early communities? They didn't have any?
Yeah, absolutely. I can remember in a presentation I did in France one time, talking to a fella from the UN, said everybody in the world deserves to have a waste bin service outside their house. And I made the point that on the 1st of January 1788, there was zero waste in Australia.
Yes, that then begs the question, really, why do we have waste in our society today? Are we a society that almost automatically aims to produce it? And if that's the case, how do we address that issue now?
I think the difficulty with waste, to us, it's a concept. It's like calling a Monday a public holiday. It doesn't change the fact that it's a Monday. And really the only place that waste exists is in the form of a concept. It's something that exists between our ears.
Yes.
It just does not exist.
Well, interestingly enough, governments haven't really properly tackled this, although I have to say there are some very interesting ideas around the world at the moment. The first one that really attracts me is the circular economy of the European Union, which is now being put into practice. Gerry, we've also talked from time to time about product stewardship acts, haven't we?
Yeah, well, I think we're actually very fortunate in Australia because we've had the Product Stewardship Act in place since 2011. We've just never used it. We used it on TVs and computers a bit, and we're using it now on mattresses very effectively. But, those agreements need to be broader. I mean, there's an argument in Australia to say that if 70% of our waste stream is organic material and we have less than 1% organic material in 75% of our soils, doesn't it make sense that we should put it under the Product Stewardship Act back into our soils? As we've said in earlier programs, Geoff, it just makes no sense to community value.
No, absolutely. And in fact, Gerry, some work that we've seen run by Professor Steve Garlick a couple of years ago actually showed that if we managed waste and did so that we used it in the community by recycling or reuse or whichever way you like, the benefits were something like $100 million to the regional economy and actually 600 to 900 people employed.
Yeah. So, and that's just in the ACT in the southeast of New South Wales.
That's right, yeah. So that sort of approach is not what we would favour most, because it doesn't mean that we actually deal with the source of the material, but we are dealing with the material and use it in a much better way.
And use it locally. I think one of the most crucial things about the entire argument that Steve Garlick put forward was you need to find reuse processes and manufacturing processes and waste reduction processes in your local community that use the stuff to your best benefit, because you're the person who's making the investment in your rates. So if you're investing in the process, then the return needs to come back to you like any other shareholder in any other business.
Now, the ABC has recently run a couple of programs in which they've actually highlighted the problem, and we congratulate them on doing that. But the next step is to look further afield, look behind why these problems are there. I have to say I thought the ABC began to explore that, but we would encourage them to do so.
Yeah.
So, Gerry, just summing up, basically, we're going to ask people to think more seriously about, well, what is this word waste?
Yes.
And then actually, what can we do to develop a community which either does not have any, or it uses those materials that are so-called waste stream for local economic development.
There are zero waste communities now all around the world. Let's be one of them.
Yes.